Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Last time out, we looked into the murder that was. We thought Rondalite was. We got him off of theft, and then apparently we put him at the place of a murder. So then technically we screwed him over. So now we're trying to disprove he did murder and was the actual thief. Uh, a lot of intertwining connections. And we're hopefully going to get him get a not guilty verdict somehow. Whew, okay, warm up the vocal cords.
Hey Nick,
What is it this time?
you won't believe how many people are here for the trial.
Well, it is a murder case.
What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door.
Next door?
Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmy's trial today.
Detective at me?
They're saying they're going to try him as mask to mask.
Already? That was fast.
Boy, I'd love to see Mask to Mask's trial.
I'm going to predict this is, Goddo. I know. By the way, what's Pearls?
Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore.
Oh, it'll be Ron. I don't know. I know you don't like me. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh?
Yeah, ever since that incident last year.
Okay, and Ron's voice seems to change every other time that because I always forget what his voice is like, but, let's take a gamble. Please? Please don't ignore me.
Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning.
No one likes me. No one would even notice me if I killed someone.
Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec.
You don't mean you're the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's, not right. A thief can't really be poor. Depends what he steals. If he steals something that's incredibly valueless, then he would be technically a poor thief. Now, let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists.
You really think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick?
It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock.
Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always.
I'm afraid that's not an option.
Hmm?
I like the thing in this game that they've done, or that they slowly were doing between the first game and the third. You know that, or if you notice it, that Nick is a lot more confident in his abilities, or at least more confident in what he says. Like, he actually knows what he's doing half the time, and not just, learning stuff and pulling stuff out of his ass every 20 minutes. Anyway. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Rondalite. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot.
Ugh. He's got the judge in the palm of his hand. Yet again. I wouldn't say that was in the palm of his hand, it's just opening statements, my dude. Just give it like another 20 seconds, then he might have him in the palm of his hand.
Rondalite is simply too young to be sent to war. That is all.
I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot.
Huh. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war. But that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Yes. Well, let me briefly summarize the details of this case.
Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. Must be something about me talking a lot and yawning. I have been up for well over 6 hours. I woke up really early this morning, just couldn't sleep. But I did get like solid amount. And for whatever reason, not yawned once. As soon as I start talking, turn on the record button. Instant yawn. I just swear it must be something about this game, or just me talking copiously. Anyway.
The victim's name is Kane Bulland, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day.
And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Well then, Mr. Gatto, please call your first witness.
I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. The first one is always the best.
Mr. Gatto, will your witness?
Okay then. Let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself.
The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? Maybe a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. I don't know if you'd call it trust. It's more like, if you don't testify, we're going to lose the case anyway, so you may as well. You know, that sort of... I won't call that trust, I'd call that just a leap of faith. And, oh well, a less chance to lose sort of deal. Again, yawning. Don't understand it. Why does it happen? I've been up for hours. I shouldn't have... I'm not tired. I don't feel tired. I'm energized. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify.
You've got guts, Wright.
All right then, Mr. Rondelite, please take the stand.
You did it, didn't you?
Yeah. What? No, that's not true.
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever.
Well, technically this is the... Well, actually, no, it's a new trial. I'll shut up. I was going to say, technically this is the continuation of a trial of theft, but I guess not. Since this one is for murder.
Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making.
And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin.
Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? You didn't kill Bullard. Why did you go to KB Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home.
Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened.
Ooh, just under 10 minutes, I'm actually going to get in some testimony. It's like a new record. That evening, around 1 a.m., I, went to see Mr. Bullet in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it would order me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was.
Well, 1 a.m. is the exact time the murder took place.
The weak get washed away by the tides of fate, and the strong drink it up. It's bitter today, too, just like my destiny.
You never know from the way he's chugging it down.
Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
Well then. Okay, we don't need to talk about that anymore. Just, as usual, press everything. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yeah. That's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also a bit,
1 a.m., that's the exact time the victim Mr. Bullet was murdered, correct?
It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure.
In the blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. It ordered you there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter like that ordered to me to go somewhere.
Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Of course not. Oh, of course. They'd say... Okay, never mind, I screwed it up. 'Cause I was yawning. Ugh. Why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please do not say anything else. Now what should I do? Table? Ooh, no table smack. So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000.
Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder.
Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway.
Oh, is that right?
After all, I had nothing to hold over... After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. Well, he's lying there, because we know what's in the actual letter.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir. A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. No idea what that means. I'm assuming it's a reference to something. Just what were you being blackmailed about, anyway?
The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole Master Mask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullet didn't have anything on me.
He didn't?
Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Mr. Delight didn't believe he was Master... Oh, Ms. Delight didn't believe he was Master Mask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yeah, that's right.
A security chief? You?
And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Life after being fired? I mean, why he was fired is probably the interesting bit. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job.
Well,
The world is filled with those who have said I wish I had never asked.
Okay, then I take it back.
Defendant, please answer the question. Your lawyer is an absolute idiot.
well, I needed money.
You needed money?
Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I, stole data from the company.
Well, great. That's, how would you say? That's, I mean, a confession. I mean, it's not to murder, but it's a confession of theft. Come again?
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief,
You stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Bullet found out and I was fired immediately.
What?
I wish I had never asked. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I'd quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Well, you look surprisingly chipper.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that.
He sure told you.
It's not like I am I own my own company.
So you admit that you stole data from your own from your company, is that correct?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony.
Ah, man. This whole thing just took a big turn for the worst. Crash, and then blew up. Well, this whole thing is it just took a big turn for the worst, crashed, and then blew up. That's a weird sentence. I feel like there needed to be more. Oh, they need to rethink that sentence. It doesn't feel right to me. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. Okay, and he fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that. Well, let's press this and see if we can get anywhere with it. And why would you do something like that?
Well, for Desi's hobby. What else?
Wasting money, huh?
It's not a waste.
So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she?
So it would seem.
I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets from each other like that.
Well, get used to it, Maya. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples. Maybe you should have brought pearls. Could teach you that we're not a couple.
Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright.
There wasn't much in his testimony, was there?
Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me.
Uh-oh, then I've got a bad feeling about this. We better be careful.
But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's this so far. The blackmail didn't scare me. I wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. I've been working for this. I knew where his office was. I feel like it's this one. Because if you read the, obviously the letter, I'll... okay. Okay, if you don't want your true identity revealed, come to the inn, bring 50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. I can't think of anything else that's going to be a problem here. There's nothing at this moment in time here sounds right, so I assume it's the blackmail letter. Interesting, it's not. Right then, let's rethink our statement. Contradicts the evidence. Cheers for that. Okay. I wasn't going to call... Blackmail letter didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. That's what I would have said, because I would have gone with a blackmail letter because it was going to reveal... You don't want your identity revealed to the world. Is it this one? He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi didn't know about that. Wait a minute. Does that mean... Okay, right. But Desi doesn't know about that. Does that mean that because if he wasn't causing me trouble or anything, that's contradicting statements. Does that mean if I do this with Desi? There we go. Okay, second time round. You know, slow start. I know what I'm doing. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match with what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret.
A certain person?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. Ow. Bang my thumb on the table. Because I was flicking my phone up. Out my pocket. Ah, it hurts. Ah. Use it for the performance.
What? But listen to me. My Desi, she's,
Looks like I just sit back and relax. The fun will begin before the fun will end before it truly begins. Godot. Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
What do you mean?
Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how murder came about.
No, not everything is falling No. Everything is falling neatly into place for him.
don't talk about my Desi like that. Or you'll be sorry.
Oh, damn, he's gonna put the fisticuffs up.
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far.
What do you think, Nick?
I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. That's a coincidence. We've been going for 20 minutes, or around 20 minutes.
Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much.
The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now. Tell us. We're all ears.
Okay, in round 2.
Well, I entered the office and there was a suspicious shadow there.
Okay.
Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I'd have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullet was lying there, dead.
Hmm. Well then.
I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Master Mask struck him on the head from behind.
Of course, since Adney turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie.
No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that.
What are you saying? I was really attacked.
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination.
Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
That sounds like a euphemism, so we're just gonna move on. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Gatto. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. Sort of. Maybe. Kinda. Shrug shoulders. I don't know. And start pressing again. So, who was this suspicious shadow? Suspicious. We'll get it there in the end.
If there were 1,000 of me, even if one knew, I'd tell it. And if even one knew, I'd tell you. Trust me.
His dodging of all our questions is not helping us win this case.
Okay, so then how was the victim Mr. Bullet at that time?
What do you mean by how was he?
Was he already alive? Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place.
That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
Forget it. I wonder if anyone's just done that in court, just gone, screw it, move on. Giving up, I'm just giving up. Your forehead? You were struck on the forehead.
Yeah. I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack.
Do you remember anything about who hit you?
Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So, I think I was a little dazed for a while.
I don't think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking.
Yeah, I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. And as we know from the second game, Phoenix does have those muscles to break open an iron door. So, maybe that would knock some sense into him. Okay, and if I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. Wearing what? That? Could you, clarify to what you were referring to?
Why, my Master Mask costume, of course.
Just wait a moment. Mask to mask?
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before?
Yeah, that might have helped, you know, just casually mentioning you in the regalia that you are now. This would have been nice to know. You know, doesn't actually, you know, it might actually help somewhere. You know, help us prove that you might not be the killer. But if you want to do that, go for it, and just lie to the whole court in the meantime. Just 1 minute. Just want to do something there.
Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Master Mask. Then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this.
I don't recall him mentioning it to me, Eva.
Even I didn't know that.
Oh damn, his thing's steaming up.
Seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait. That's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
Hmm. Huh. My sixth cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
Is that actually his sixth cup of coffee? Like, has he been like through 6 already? Someone needs to check that out and prove it if he's lying or not.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
Right then. I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my Master Mask costume. Why were you dressed up as Master Mask?
Why? Because I'm Master Mask, of course.
What are you talking about? Master Mask's trial is being held next door.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I was being blackmailed over the Master Mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than expected.
Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? Table? God damn it, Phoenix, stop making me wait for the goddamn table slam. What do you mean by took a lot longer?
Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullet's body.
What? What was that? Back up a second.
Yeah?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yeah.
Inconceivable. Why? Just why? What reason could you have had? What were you even thinking?
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
What?
The answer is simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, whoops. That was just me dropping my phone that time. No, didn't hurt myself. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer?
So you're not as stupid as you look.
His metaphor this time was really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Well, yes.
Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh, looks like a storm front is moving in on the fair weather judge. Right, I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway?
Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer.
That's not exactly what I meant.
When I saw the corpse, I kinda lost it. I thought, they find this corpse, they'll think I did it.
I think you had a simpler reason than that. I think it's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
That certainly does make more sense.
Hold on. 10 minutes?
What is it, Nick?
I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it?
Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh. Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show what those circumstances were?
That's it. I'll just take a look at the card record and provide some evidence.
We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we?
There's not much in his testimony either.
Bet you he's still hiding something.
I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him.
I just hope he doesn't make anything more things any more complicated.
Okay, and I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's that. I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing the Master Mask costume. Well, the thing is... Mr. Bulb was lying dead, I panicked. It took about 10 minutes. The thing is... Obviously... Where is it? That. The buzzer record. So you want to press... I'm assuming it's this. To show that he couldn't have had that much time. Simple enough. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record?
And what might that be?
The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. You'd think you'd have, you know, cameras in the office, but you know, I guess they could have been obscured. Larry was there after all. I'm just not even. I'm yawning. I just don't even care anymore. Don't know why it happens. We're just carrying on. If a button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m.
What?
If Mr. Rondelite was truly the murderer, he would have had ran as soon as that buzzer had sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Oh, so that's actually Godot's voice. Or Godot's voice.
Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building.
He did work there, you moron. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
But as it turns out, the guard never came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known.
Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
Have you heard that buzzer? Yeah, exactly. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is.
Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, never mind. He doesn't seem to be that bad.
Fine, let's hear your theory.
Okay, then. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes.
unconscious, so he fainted.
That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. Also, I had enough time then to break up another yarn. And
So, what are you trying to say?
Mr. Delight was knocked out and the buzzer went off soon afterward. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Rondelight and then pressed the buzzer. The buzzer. Buzzer. Very weird word. Buzzer.
Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is...
This is preposterous. If it was this kid. Rondelight is the only one who killed Kane Bullard.
Then who pressed the buzzer?
It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button.
So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright?
I'm just gonna have a look at potentially the report before. Cerebral hemorrhaging, blood trauma to the head. No fingerprints on it. It's probably the buzzer itself. I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? I believe I can. Because I'm smart. The defense opinion is this, Your Honor. A piece of evidence that proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. So it wasn't... It has to be this, correct? That's the only thing I can think of it being. Yep. Oh, there we go. Table slam. He's feeling confident. He's feeling the rhythm. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for.
The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it?
Absolutely not.
Hey, come on now. At least give some thought on what you say before opening your mouth.
The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue.
Now I'm the one who's clueless.
This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind. I don't know. Spitting sound.
Rondelight obviously wiped them off.
I don't think that he did. And why would he? A guard could have been in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Master Mask. And Master Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints?
Hold on.
It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow.
Nah, that's a prosecutor with a certain black bird. That's for that's later down the line when we get a what's his name, Blackquill.
I wonder what blend number of crow flavor coffee is.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger?
He does make a valid point.
What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
Looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks. Parlor tricks.
Weird saying parlor tricks.
In that deep voice. Guess you're fresh out of parlor tricks.
They're on to you, Nick.
Just give me a moment to collect my thoughts. I'm certain I can bullshit my way out of this. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullet around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right?
Oh, and Mr. Delight was...
Okay, ow. Okay, never mind.
Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right?
And then the killer clobbered Mr. Delight and sounded the buzzer. Jesus, gotta get that sound out of my ears. Reminds me of Wright to Censor from WWE. You ever heard that, like, their theme song? It was literally just a siren ongoing, and then like some voice. I can't remember what it said. Like some annoying voice. It was very loud and annoying. It's definitely one of the most annoying theme songs of wrestling I've ever heard.
Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed.
Security was supposed to respond. I mean, I already had this thought, Phoenix, but go forth. I mean, I didn't say it verbally, but, you know, it lends itself to, 2 plus 2 does equal 4. If the security was supposed to respond, why would someone press the button?
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well, then.
Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
To call the security guard. The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
Yes, although as it turned out, he never showed up.
Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time.
Well, to be fair, Larry doesn't have the bruises to show it, so it kind of been that bad of a fight.
Huh. What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in?
No, I'm not. When the buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullet, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer.
Hypothetically, yes.
Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight.
And if any security guards came running in at the time, they would think that I was the murderer.
Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. He's a really cool customer, isn't he? Oh, never mind, he just decided to drink and spit out his coffee. Don't know how I feel about the dude having the earrings on around the lobe. I don't know, like I'm not against having earrings. I've just when I was younger I thought about getting gauges because I was, an edgy teen. And then I just sort of grew out of it, and now I'm not really bothered about it. I don't know. It's a style choice. If you want to get your ears pierced, go for it. My one of my relatives is young and she's getting her ear pierced, and there's a whole palaver over that with the parents. That's fun. Because definitely trust a child with sticking. If you told a child what getting your ears pierced would be like, sort of what we're gonna do is just gonna make a hole in your ear. As a kid, I'd definitely be I'd definitely be like, no, you're not touching my ears after that. It's gonna be blood and everything. Yeah, nah, I think I'll pass. Anyway,
Hold her, hold her, hold her. Enough about, jewelry. on the facial features.
It would seem.
Apart from that, I like the rest of Godot's getup. I mean, apart from the the visor, I don't think I'd pull that off in public.
I've been made to eat my words again.
Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee.
Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it who tried to frame me? Wait. Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mask, so...
Nick, who do you think the real killer is?
Well, I'm gonna drag that person in here right now.
But who is it?
I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. Listen, Maya, look at all those pictures that they've shown and that black silhouette. Who do you think it is, moron? The killer knew Mr. Light's identity, and they also knew that they had been called to KB security that night. That he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard.
Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who is it who framed Mr. Rondelite for the murder of Kane Bullard?
Good old Triple H, the man with the 4-foot nose. Since we're on the finger-making wrestling connections for some reason. Detective Luke Atme. He's the only one who could have done it.
Ace Detective.
Look at me?
You mean Mask to Mask did it?
Your Honor, the person being tried in that court next to us is not Master Mask after all. He is in actuality the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Actuality. Big words. It's just words you don't really use in daily life. Anyway.
Hold there. Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime?
They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. The capital crime subject to a capital punishment.
Please remember the trial from yesterday if you would. When Luke Atme confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course. The famous detective was unmasked as well as Master Mask.
Instead of being convicted for murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along.
To be found guilty?
Master Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Master Mask was Luke Atme's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi.
A guilty verdict as an alibi?
You know, it's almost time.
For what?
For Luke Atme's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial after all. We're going to stop this trial and stall that one. We need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Mr. Luke Atme's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal.
Am I really sure about this?
Huh. A bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you.
Mr. Delight?
So please, I'm begging you.
Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this?
Phoenix.
What was that?
Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. Stop being a little bitch. That voice, it sounds like...
Mia? Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess.
Huh. So that's your answer, huh?
Very well, I have decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Luke at me to the stand. Look at me. Look at me.
I keep saying it now just because it's look at me. Because that's the pun. Luke. Okay, and anyway. Yes, Your Honor. I wonder if they use the other judge in this court, because they'll go to the other courtroom now. Okay, so Preston Payne's the prosecutor.
Well, Sir Detective Adme.
I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
No. Oh, no, Sir Detective Adme. You were the one who...
Yep, it is the other judge we're gonna see later on. There's a case that we see this judge again. And to be fair, what the hell is he got for a hairstyle? I've just noticed that he's got like a center parting, but it's like a receding sort of center part. Like so he's got it's receding as well, and there's not much hair. And then he's just shaved the top of his thing, so he's got this thick goatee. Oh, what was this guy thinking? Like, he looks like a... I don't know, like, what haircut is this? Explain. I want to see someone with this haircut in real life, just so I can get, like, a perspective of how stupid it looks.
This court...
I don't know, we're going to do a different voice for the judge, or we're going to do... Because I always like to think that the judge's voice is a tiny bit muffled because of the beard, but he doesn't have this problem here. So, right.
This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke at me.
Wait. Don't hand down your verdict yet, please.
Well, 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 Sir Lawyer. Welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, eh?
I guess he's Canadian? I don't know. My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. And I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke at me.
Accusation? You accuse Master Mask?
This man is not Master Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer.
What?
Oh, that like, he's sweating from his nose. Is that where his nostrils are? Or his nostrils like right at the bottom? Oh, see this. See, this the science behind like Luke at me is he like an anteater, whereas the whole like whereas his nose are at the or his nostrils are at the end of the nose, or is it like I thought his nostrils would be at the end of that at the start of his nose like normal people. So the real question is that thing dripping from his nose sweat or snot? These are the true hard-hitting questions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to reposition my headphones because my hair's starting to get in my face.
My sis?
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then she's still alive inside your heart.
Yep, that's what I'd call it.
Oh, Nicky boy.
Oh, Ms. Delight.
Is it true that that detective is the real killer?
To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. But that's the only one. He's the only one who could have done it.
But he wasn't at Lordly Taylor that night.
Well, we're going to try and work that out.
Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive.
Okay, but was just sticking there.
I mean, why would Detective Abney want to kill Kane Bullard?
Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Alright then, round 2. It's probably gonna be the final one.
Now then, court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand.
See now, even Luke Atmey's hair. Like, look at, like, I can see someone pulling that stupid sort of stuff off, because, you know, I've seen people do weird things with shaved, with the, like, with their heads when they shave the sides and do stuff with what's left on top. Like, that's more realistic to me than that second judge's hair. I want to know why. I would never have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I assume I just missed out a bunch of text. I do apologize. I couldn't let them down. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you a perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Master Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. But of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way there's no way I could know what's been going on in there.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Mask.
Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Interesting. Sorry, I just remember we read that blackmail letter. That could be useful later. So, you continue to insist that you are in fact Master Mask. Of course.
Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with this simple question. October the 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that she should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks?
All right, Mr. Adme. The night of the murder. Speak. We're all ears.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. Right then. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask, just as I announced, so, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. This time, the time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder.
It seems the main point of discussion will be the photo of this crime scene.
Everything else If I could speak. Everything else up until now was all a part of his plan. There has to be a secret in this picture as well.
Even the Great Master Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination.
Fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
Okay, and I guess we're just, copying Francisca here for no reason.
I think he's trying to say you're full of it, Nick.
I noticed. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Good comeback. We'll get to the insults another time. We'll upgrade eventually. So this photograph is the proof, correct?
Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. This is why I called Mask to Mask.
But conveniently, that also means that there's no way to tell who it really is.
What do you mean?
Huh. You saying this is not in fact Luke at me? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi?
Oh, what an interesting idea. You saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice?
The thing is, technically yes, but also technically no. Because yes, he did have an accomplice, in terms of it was Rhonda Light, but we know that it's not Ron here, so I'm assuming give it up. Luke Atme was a KB security during the murder. And the Master Mask in this picture has to be a fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now, I have no idea who it was.
I don't have any idea right now either.
Base's objections are just what that guy wants. There's gotta be another way, and I'm going to find it. Okay, let's see if we can get anything out of these statements. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point.
That is right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist.
That would mean that you sent out the card
After you began your security watch, correct?
Indeed, there's no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal on my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this?
What, like how your eyes and eyebrows are over your hair? Yeah, sure.
Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he would have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that is true. It is kind of odd. Well then, perhaps we might use it later on. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Right, Solid Snake, keep going. When you think about it, it is really odd. You say that as almost if you had taken this picture on purpose.
He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up.
Yeah, but why?
We all have days like that.
Indeed, it turns out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. Looks like I'd better gather more information for now. He truly is the killer. There's gotta be something phony in that photo. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you were thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photo, didn't you?
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up with Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. God damn it! I don't understand why I yawn so often when playing just this. It might be the talking. It's not because I'm like say I'm not. I don't get it at all as to why it's just this game. Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious.
So this alibi is false?
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullet at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual.
There are two possibilities. Either the master mask in that photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Much time to prepare, so it's a pathetically easy job. Photograph contains no words in this case. It turned out to be my one witness. What did he say about this one again? So by photograph you mean the exact piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is, that is it. Anything that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have...
Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could have not killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. Oh, this is new text. The basement warehouse and that picture was supposedly captured it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Actually, there is, now that you say. Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. Took a look around the basement that night and before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Very well, let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny?
Well, it has to be the paint. It's either here or it's here. So I'm gonna go with the paint first. Okay, I'm getting somewhere. I'm very lucky. Otherwise, I'm very lucky I pressed that statement again. Otherwise, I would have been presenting evidence up the wazoo. The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood, now, this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, just paint? And peach colored at that.
From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. I don't know. If I was a judge, would I go on wild tangents while berating witnesses and then the prosecutor and the attorney? I might. I might. You know. I'm getting paid. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting paid by the hour, so I might like drag it on a little bit. It all depends. I would uphold the law, however. I'm not saying I would give false verdicts. I would just, you know, at the end of the day, I gotta get paid as well. The problem is, when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Oh, damn. He's dripping again.
Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in that picture instead of the paint stains?
This golden lady. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then the statue should have been there.
But when I was there the day after the theft, the statue with the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why this statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
I think I can give an interpretation. I don't know if it'd be the truth. Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you've prepared your answer.
I think I have. In theory.
Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
Right, it's either gonna be him or Master Mask. I assume it's gonna be Master Mask, because that's the one.
What do you think, Mr. Gatto?
A man should be able to answer his own questions, I think. Right now, I'm busy trying to come up with 2 answers of my own. Why is coffee black and why is it bitter?
Mr. Wright, to put it simply, I think you've messed up.
What are you doing, Nick? You utter moron. You didn't think why that statue was moved.
The good thing is about when everyone chews me out is it gives me time to think.
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Just 2, idiot. Moron.
Okay, and who moved it? Well, I'm assuming Detective Atme. That's why I said Master Mask first, because Master Mask, he would have been dressed up as Master Mask, and we've still not, cleared that little snafu up yet. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atme.
Come now, sir lawyer. There you go again on your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for these strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move the statue?
Reason can be found here in this photograph. Luke Atme, you pretended to be Master Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If this statue had been there, your lie would have been exposed like the cheap film at a drugstore. That's why you had to move the statue.
A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us.
Just where in the picture does this lie exist? I'm assuming the timestamp? If not, it's gonna be the paint. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordley Taylor at this time.
I got you now.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on that time what he was going to kill the victim. When he was going to kill the victim. And in so needed to create an alibi for that time. He took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet.
ah,
So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, to speak. Or so to speak. I don't know, did Atme say that beforehand? I don't get the reference. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. You did it to make the room match with the way it had been in the photo. Oh! That's a very weird expression he has on his face when he gets revealed, I guess.
hold there. Mr. Atme, is this true?
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this?
What's that?
The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by Lordley Taylor's staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Gah!
Hold there. Mr. Gatto, what is the meaning of this? Gatto, I warned you about making me wait. Now, put that coffee down.
My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop.
However, the defense has a very good point.
A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points.
So you say that this photograph was taken ahead of time? And that the statue was moved in order to make it match? It's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That's very true.
No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as mask to mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it.
Yes. Please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
Well then. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Svari. It was sent down to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. Well, that's an obvious lie. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. I think that might be the thumbnail for this episode. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but will we find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave?
Witness, you're sure you are making no mistakes this time?
Svari.
Oh, well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Oh, well, I think I know what the lie is, but we'll just press to make sure. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Yeah, Ms. Adrian Andrews, Phoenix, remember that. How could I forget? Indeed, it seemed they have heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. Phoenix, don't say that. You might be lumping me into a group here that I don't particularly want to be a part of.
Better watch out too.
You better watch out too, Maya. Exactly, Phoenix works with her all the time. Okay, and the urn was placed in the box and sent down to the warehouse. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was specially taken with that urn. And she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh, interesting new tidbit. Right, hence I was actually unable to see the urn myself until the day of the crime. I don't think that's the actual lie. It's more the fact of the valuableness of it is the interesting part. So, you're sure that you've never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, and let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. There's extremely valuable treasure. See, this is what I mean. I'm gonna have to call him out on this lie because it's not valuable. It's better off just showing you guys. Oh, I was gonna say it doesn't say that it's completely worthless, which it is. Never mind. You mean this calling card? That's right. That is, without a doubt, my calling card.
Guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all.
Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. I handled security myself to ensure the crime would go smoothly. He's telling the truth there. And no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. That's for a period of approximately 5 days. The people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse.
I think it's either going to be the valuableness of the actual thing, or this is going to be where we press him and find some new clues. Or, well, not press him, but present evidence. Because, those are the two statements that don't really add up with me at the moment. And this photo, and this is the photo that proves that, huh?
Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey Nick, if this photo is a fake,
Detective,
Detective Adme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
That's true. You know, he's been saying he never saw that urn until that night. We can prove that that he's lying there. We can wrap this up with and put a bow on it. We need to take a good hard look at the court record.
Not a lot to go on, is there?
That detective's been covering his tracks. There's one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. He took this photo well before the actual night of the crime.
Alright then how do we do that?
There's one thing that Adme stated very clearly. That he hadn't seen the urn before he stole it.
We need to prove that he's lying.
That he hadn't seen the urn before he stole it. So maybe it's this? Hence I wasn't able to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think. Because there's a few statements. Obviously, there's extremely valuable treasure, which we know it's completely worthless. And then what was that last statement? I held the urn for my hands on the first time, October 1st of the 12th. See, the thing is with that... Let me read this again. So I'm just unable to see the urn for myself on the day. Urn was placed in a box. You mean this box? Yeah, the pathetic box. This was taken with that urn. Should have let anyone in the storeroom but me. So we didn't actually see what the urn looked like. You're sure you had never seen the urn before? Indeed, you may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. Security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. So I feel like it's either this statement or the last one. I'm just having a look at this. You're coming to purloin the most priceless work of your on display treasure Korean exhibit. Take good care of that speckled urn, won't you? I'm just trying to think of what piece of evidence proves it. Because there's nothing here. This doesn't. None of these do. That's talking about the red diamond, because that's the one that's on his finger at the minute, potentially. No, because all this stuff is for this, and then there's the broken urn, which was replaced by... it could be the urn, but I don't think it is. Hmm. Dropped by Adrian when she was 2 weeks ago and knocked over some paint. Had been sicker and has pink paint on it. Oh, wait, hang on. I think I've just had a... Okay, and I think I have an epiphany. Hang on. Right, okay. Adrian broke and repaired the urn 2 weeks ago. Okay, and then replaced, and then fixed it, and then kept it out of sight. If at me, hang on, I just want to check that again. Exhibit, take good care of that speckled urn, won't you? Speckled, right. Okay. How would he have known that the urn was broken if he hadn't seen it beforehand? Because he would have thought it looked like this. So, hopefully, this makes sense. Otherwise, I'm sort of panicking, and I'm just going to start presenting every single piece of evidence under the sun. Okay, cool. Glad we looked about. Glad we had a look at the evidence there. I was panicking for a little bit. Not gonna lie. Mr. Atme, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? It's only because, see, the only reason I clicked then was because they usually they give you prompts as where they want you to go, and when they're talking about the calling card was his, I thought that's weird. That's why I had a look at it the first time round and thought this must be somewhat related. I didn't think it'd be related in terms of the actual evidence, but hey, thumbs up to me. But of course.
Is there a problem with this calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the urn.
Yes, that is true, but so what?
Truth be told, there is no way Master Mask could have even known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke very funny, Trite.
The day that the sacred urn had been taken to the warehouse, this daft woman decided to drop it. And then, even more, drop it in paint. The urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. That's when pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions this paint pattern. Which means Detective Adme had seen this urn long before the crime took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Ah! Good old Phoenix done it again. Pulled rabbit out of a hat. Or as I call it, evidence out of the arse.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah. Alright, that did it. He's broken.
Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? You actually have to prove he killed the bloke then. You know, if he did do it.
It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask. Now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
That's a good point.
No way! Don't fall for that too, Your Honor. Your Honor? Ugh, if I could speak.
So you say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard? And let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you my merry murderous motive manifest?
Nick, he's getting his second wind.
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Rhonda Light, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder.
The only one with any motive we've seen in this is Rhonda Light. Isn't that right, Detective?
Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
Without a doubt, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were.
Well, it's because he was going to rob that ring from him. Allegedly. I'd be honored to, Sir Oldtimer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Well, alright then. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim soever. What's that thing on his nose? Is that like a bump? Like a birth defect? Or is that like meant to be some type of weird little monocle? I mean on Kane Bullard's nose. This looks very weird because he doesn't have it on his other side of his face. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and it was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. This is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy.
So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. Very different voices there. Sorry about that. The handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
What? Again, yawning, can't help it.
Very well, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination.
All right then, let's get this show on the road.
Okay, let's start pressing and start breaking apart his arguments. And who in the world is going to prove that?
I will.
I'm gonna have to stop myself from what's his name? From going into like Christian Bale's Batman instead when doing a deeper voice.
After doing a thorough and background check of Detective Bullard, or Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report.
Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security.
Nope.
That was blunt.
In any case, the only one who has a motive was Mr. Delight. Bullard decided to invest Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mistook? That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse, mistaka, meaning to take an error. Is that actually the derivation of that word? That wasn't what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be?
Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off that guy's face. Table? Yeah. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvari, take a look at this newspaper.
Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel.
That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant.
The defendant?
The victim clearly misread this article and Zvari. He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard... God damn it, can't do the voice when I'm yawning. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask.
I see.
That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
I'm sure it was. Mr. Bullard, who wrote that blackmail letter and was sent to Ron Delight. Right then, you mean that this blackmail letter right here?
It says bring me $50,000.
And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's.
There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it.
But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere.
An addressee. An addressee.
Also no, an addressee?
This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. And Mr. Delight did not show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant.
I wonder.
What's up, Nick?
I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Well, I've basically said this already, but go forth.
Whoa, do you have any evidence of that?
For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling. There's something that's not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Let's just press all our statements before we make any announcements. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvari. KB Security has a lot of info on all sorts of companies. Since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. Kane Bullard has yet to forgive me, young Mr. Delight. Which is why he's sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief.
Here is a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail.
However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullet the money? Even though he wasn't actually Master Mask.
On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Okay, Mr. Bullet's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant believes he wasn't actually Master Mask. Do you really think that this story is going to hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Mr. Rondelight's wife, Desiree Delight. Oh, sorry.
I have a memo from Rondelight's wife, Desiree Delight.
God damn it, I have to do the... Do I have to do the voice of him? Or do I have to do the voice of her?
Ronnie thinks he's Master Mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Well, Mr. Trite.
Is he trying to act like Mr. Light just now?
I thought he was actually pretty convincing.
Well, you know, I don't really want to see Godot in skin-tight leather, I'll be honest. There's a lot of things I would like to do to Mr. Light that I would not like to do to, Godot. I mean, that for example, that visor would just get in the way all the goddamn time. Have you saw how hard it is for people with glasses to kiss? Complete goddamn annoyance. Now, that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This was a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning.
Did we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves?
It's a long story and better say it for another time.
Very well, another time.
Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience.
So we're gonna try and connect Detective Abney to Mr. Bullard, right?
Yep, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either.
In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail.
That is true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron?
Since we don't have enough information, we should press him for more testimony.
Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose either. Oh, that way. Was it... I'm trying to think which one was it... The thing is with Phoenix Wright as well is I think it was this game where they started to basically be like press everything and then press everything up and then press other statements again. I want to have a look at that blackmail letter again. Written by Bullard. Newspaper clipping about Rhonda Light. That was that one. Mr. Bullard wrote it. It was then Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. So that's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter to Mr. and sent it to Mr. Delight. This is the thing. Phoenix keeps saying, I don't think this was sent to Mr. Delight. And I've got nothing to prove otherwise apart from that red jewel. So that's all the stuff that he's robbed. There's nothing else. Yeah, okay, this might be used here as well. Remember the mass second heist Donnie was stealing is directed by blackmail letters? This could be used, but it's not really used at this point. I think the letter's all I've really got, unless it's the newspaper clipping. That's the only other thing I can think of it being, or Ron's testimony. But there's nothing in these other statements that makes sense. So I'm going to have to press with the blackmail letter like I said I would originally. I don't think there's any other thing. Like we said, if Phoenix is so confident that he thinks it wasn't wasn't wrote by or wasn't written to Rondolite, then it must have been for someone else, which must have been Atme. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right.
When you said you were later this letter was later addressed to Rondolite, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. I was going to say the red jewel.
Contradiction?
I don't know where a walking contradiction gets off saying things like that.
You don't want to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior?
Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Shows the contradiction in the evidence pertaining to the blackmail letter.
Right, okay, well we came this far, so it has to be something. Don't identity revealed, KB security at 1 o'clock, October 12th, and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. So it's either Ron's testimony or the newspaper clipping. It's from my... Oh, sorry, it could... Oh, sorry, not Ron's thing. It could be this as well, now that I think about it. Well, everything here isn't a jewel. The tier of Eminom's blue, not red. That's the only thing. So I'm assuming these are all the things that he stole, or Master Mask has stolen. But none of these are a blue jewel or red diamond. Sorry, the only red diamond potentially is on his finger, who's making us look at. So contradicting evidence. I assume it's either this or it's this. I'm gonna go with, I guess, this, because this actually has the color of the jewel on it. Whew. See, if you think about things logically, they all seem to materialize eventually. Would you take a good look at this newspaper clipping? It contains a picture of the Tear of Eminon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is the jewel's color.
Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself.
Well, hats off to you for not seeing race. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in this blackmail letter, the totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Eminon that Master Mask stole at all.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
This is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, is this what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. Although you couldn't have, just said that once. And this is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Well, there's only one person it has to be, which is bada boom bada bing, man with the red diamond on his thing. I wanted to make it rhyme and I wasn't clever enough. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme.
You have some sort of basis for that claim?
Look at that massive rock you've got on your finger. You've been personally involved in every single Master Mask case. In the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel. as your reward.
A jewel?
Yeah, one of those, like, you know, those fine e-cigs. A jewel. Nah, of course. Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That diamond ring. This is the diamond referred to in that letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you.
Ah,
Order in the court.
It seems you've gotten too far in your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
I don't like the way he said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me? Are you for real?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Nick, come on. Stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. You don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does.
Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Adme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to be kept a secret. So what was this identity?
Atme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Atme wanted so desperately to keep was his... Well, it's going to be his Master Mask, but it could be as a blackmailer. Because... Right, okay, and think this through. Because the thing is, Ron Delight is Master Mask, but technically Luke Atme is the one who creates Master Mask's plans. So I assume it's blackmail by going what the court record says, where it says from this, where Ron says in his statement that he's been blackmailed through since after the second one. So I'm going over blackmailer. Okay, we're just stringing this along slowly. I now know how Phoenix feels all the time. Luke Atme was a blackmailer.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying?
I'm assuming I'm going to have to print or use the evidence of Ron's thing to prove it.
You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atme. You saying that Atme was all blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit that does sound a little odd.
No, it's not. It's the only thing that actually makes sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme. But Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain person. So did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident?
Yeah, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting plans in the mail. I received plans for some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Rhonda Light was actually Master Mask.
This is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with those plans and had Mr. Delight steal targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme, and my Hergeet's getting caught in my headphones.
Shush! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming quite clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Luke Adme, was blackmailing Rhonda Light. In which case, I would naturally know all about this in relation to Master Mask.
Well, yes.
Rhonda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward.
I said coward for some reason.
Correct?
It's the red text.
Which means I learned of his identity when he committed this first crime. Good point. That certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Adme know that Rhonda Light was Master Mask?
I'll figure that out. Just give me a moment. Well, we know that he stuffed the... Don't we know that he stuffed the, his clothes in a bin? So I'm assuming it's the newspaper clipping. If not, we're sort of up Shit's Creek. I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year too. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Rhonda Light in this guard uniform. Seems the Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hidden in a bucket, or in that case, a garbage bin.
That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he can fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. That's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was really Rhonda Light. What the? He wasn't supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, he looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. Can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass off himself as an ace detective.
Why, you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid that you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why, you... How dare you?
Nope, copious amounts of text, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Just imagine he's losing his ever-loving mind if you can't see this on the screen. And he's laughing maniacally.
It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme.
Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
Well, technically he's already got one. Oh, do I have to now prove that he killed Kane Bullard?
The hammer strikes too fast, has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I've already prepared to deliver my ruling.
Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Trite.
What do you mean?
It's true you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't all at Lordly Taylor on the night of the murder.
That's right. That's because he's the one who killed Kane,
But did he? There's still one thing yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he wasn't at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way.
Order in the court.
This is it.
it's the final round. I've got to prove that Detective Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night.
But can you really prove that, Nick?
I'm going to try.
That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security, and the defense... Well, we gotta go in, haven't we? Otherwise, we're up another creek again. The defense can prove it, with evidence.
You sure?
Don't you worry, I'll watch over you. As you break down and fall to pieces.
Very well then, let's see proof. Prove that Luke Atme was at KB Security that night.
Okay, and then there must be something. No. There's no definitive proof. I think I have to back out. Or have to take the L, actually. He pressed the buzzer. This is the proof. Please tell me I didn't get that right.
It's true, that is very important. However, I'm not as foolish as to think that this will pass for evidence here.
Mr. Trite, it's time you learn the true flavor of life. The flavor of my special Gotto blend, 49.
Well, Mr. Wright?
It's bitter. Very bitter. Well, nope, I wasn't right.
Come on, Nick. Don't give up now.
What do I do? If I make a mistake here, it's over. The fact that they're giving me this option again suggests to me that I can't prove it. I thought I could, but I thought that was going to lead to more testimony. Never mind, I guess. Well, I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
But if we hear more of Detective Acme's testimony...
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Trite.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for his witness to return to his own trial. And face his guilty verdict as mask to mask.
No.
Well now, sir lawyer. It seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as master mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron the Light will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of any ace detectiveness. Order in the court. As a note deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, runners. Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look forward for more evidence. We can look for more evidence and...
By then it'll be too late. Well, you're gonna bring in double jeopardy?
Huh? Why?
There we go. Lovely little ruling.
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Yep. To be fair, it actually does make sense when you think about it.
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. It applies to this witness as much as it applies to anything else.
I am very surprised they brought in double jeopardy into this thing. Just because double jeopardy is an actual, like, legitimate court ruling that, you know, I don't know if a lot of people actually know. I only clued in at the end then when they say there won't be another chance. So when, oh, are they going to bring this in, and then remembered, because I have played this game previously, that we actually do bring it up.
It applies to this witness as much as it applies to anybody else.
Mr. Redme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask, which means...
He will be found innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned.
No way.
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Radme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer.
There's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atme, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections?
Well, you're gonna have to throw one out, Phoenix, eventually.
And I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
That's Mia.
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing, often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you...
Phoenix, raise your head up high. You've forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia?
This is the true power of the Korine channeling technique. Oh yeah, for people who haven't played the game before, we have to remember that Maya's a psychic. Oh well, no, she's a spirit channeler, so she can channel spirits. Coincidentally, at every single point when I really need them. I know it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey.
Now, let's do this.
But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine.
Not yet. The testimony's not over yet.
What do you mean?
Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, Seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Mrs. Rondelites will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Mr. Godot?
Nothing.
Oh, sir lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at me.
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear that last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godot, what are you? Very well then, Mr. Look at me. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief.
It is indeed that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. But the buzzer did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints on it if he had sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely mistook the color of the jewel. Funny. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy.
I disagree with that. Really? I would not say that does well. That's a good thing. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. I don't think it really does.
The witness's earlier remarks don't appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how do you know about the emergency buzzer?
Mixing my voices up now.
But how do you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always overlook all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
Going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer.
I will not allow any unusual shenanigans, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Mugami's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec. Just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix,
There isn't any evidence that contradicts any of that testimony.
so it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, it's our last chance. You can't point out a case-breaking contradiction. You lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seem that the time has come to end this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. I need to point it without presenting evidence. So we need to press, basically. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it.
Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Okay, and then. Indeed, it's true I was not at Lordly Taylor, so we're not going to press that statement, because otherwise we'll be screwed. I had to leave to see about another vitally important request. That's very vague, and it doesn't seem I'm going to get anything out of it. But it might be one of them. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. That actually does make sense. That's a true statement, but for different reasons. So that I don't think that's the one we press on, but it might be. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Nothing really there. Thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. Makes sense. I was also, because it doesn't seem like it seems that's how he left. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. That's true. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left his prints on it if he had sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. Okay. A blackmail letter, the victim was just mistook the colour of the jewel. I can't disprove he didn't. Vari, therefore all the evidence points to that poor boy. This cross-examination is the only chance I have to nail him. Okay, and apparently I do have only one chance to do this, otherwise it gives me a game over. Right. As far as I can see, there's no evidence to contradict his testimony.
All you can do is press him, and you only get one shot.
Right, is there anything in this testimony? No, that's a true statement. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I can't prove that he didn't. So that's useless, that's out the door. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. I can't prove that I can prove that he had the photograph readied, we know that, but I can't disprove that it was because it was for an alibi and not saying Master Mask had done it. That's no. My brilliant deduction informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. It might be this one, but can I prove that he knew? How did he know that Rhonda Light was Master Mask at that point? Which I can't really pick out at the moment. But it's a maybe. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was clear he was abundantly there, which that's a true statement. And there's been no proof that he dropped it. He didn't drop it, so that's fine. I was able to also make a deduction. The book's buzzer will only sound once. That's a true statement. The butter did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. Wait a minute. Wait, hang on. And that blackmail letter, the victim was likely mistook the jewel. Is it this one? It's only because, didn't we learn that Master... we learned earlier that he was wearing his... Is there a thing for this? Never mind. But didn't we learn today that he was wearing his Master Mask thing where Atmi was in the other room? Is that it? I'm pretty sure we learned today and not earlier on. Because that's the only thing so far that I've been like, can he prove it? Well, this is either going to take me 30 minutes to don't save and blast through all the evidence again. Do I gamble? Do I gamble and suffer the consequences? Chat would like me to gamble. Yeah, chat wants me to gamble it. Let's just check these two last statements before I make my case. It's either 5 or it's 9, but the thing is I need to prove something. Blackmail letter, the victim took the colour of the jewel, I can't prove they didn't, and then that's stupid. That's that I can't prove that he... I can't prove... Let's see, the thing is I'm looking at my brilliant deduction informing the true culprit was Delight. It's can I prove that he was blackmailing Delight, which we can't, which we've just been through. And I don't think there's any evidence that can prove it apart from the blackmail letter, which we can't prove that was his. So... Well, we have proved he was a blackmailer, so it could have been that. Oh, this is getting up my nerves. Right, okay. The only one that makes sense to me is, I think, is this. Because I'm certain, didn't we just learn today that Master Mask, he was wearing his Master Mask thing in this courtroom, which wasn't known until today. So I'm going to press this one and cross my fingers and prove and hope I'm right. So otherwise, I'm going to have to take half an hour. And because I'm not saving. No. We're all going to have to suffer this together. If I screw up, we all screw up. You wanted me to do it. I asked you, chat. I asked you, and you didn't oblige. You didn't oblige with the save function. So we're suffering in this together. So without further ado, crossing my fingers, crossing my toes. Let's hope I'm right. That good? Usually no sound is good, right? Mr. Atme, about this last remark.
Objection.
Oh, crap.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? Isn't the last time to be pressing the witness on every little statement?
Oh. Hang on, have we? I mean, Phoenix is doing his confident cocky pose, so this means either I'm gonna get absolutely shown whilst in my ass scene, or I'm right. I'm afraid you're the one who doesn't get it, Mr. Goddo.
What?
Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing Master Mask's outfit. Is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. But that's not the problem. I think we've got it right. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn the fact that Rondelight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was,
It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sick cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now.
Well then, seems we've got him. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else of this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know, this are who have been watching the trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There's no way you should have known about that.
Ah.
You were in the courtroom. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about this piece of information?
Well...
Come on. This detective should have known about it. He probably had chances to find out beforehand.
I don't think he did, since he would have been in the courtroom all day. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Adme to find that out.
Only one?
One way, you say?
Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker. So there's no way to tell whether or not he's the real killer, or to tell if the real killer was Luke Atme.
Again, I beg to differ. It's with that statement, I'll turn this case right on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? No, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Yep, okay, and they're basically flooring out my reasoning. Go forth. It was him! That suspicious silhouette was him! How could anyone have known? Detective Atme, you saw Master Mask on the night of the murder, at the murder scene on that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Oh. I appear we might have got him. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
That's the same line you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. Upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight.
I mean, to be fair, the plan would have worked if not for you know, Larry with his, you know, looking for Larry getting no bitches. Apart from that, flawless. Would have been a flawless plan.
Upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. Then he claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime.
I mean, to be fair, it's a stupid idea. That's a stupid plan. Because that means he doesn't get he still goes to jail, he just gets put in jail for theft. Instead of murder, which is not good. I mean, a true genius would have been able to get off with both at the same time. But I guess we're not, you know. If I'm nitpicking, I guess that's my problem. And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule, making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man.
Well, not innocent, because he actually did commit those crimes beforehand.
Besmirching him with with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me.
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict?
I know you never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm glad you understand that, but, I really am Master Mask.
Huh?
So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? Yeah, he's actually got a point. He looks out of being innocent for being Master Mask. Because technically, he's been found innocent of being Master Mask, so he can't be tried again. God damn it, how the hell did he look out? What did you say? What is it you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you mention it.
I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia?
As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. Defendant can never be tried for a crime twice in which he has been found innocent.
I mean, to be fair, he's not innocent. What it means is, I mean, he would have got put in jail for the crime of the Sacred Urn. So does that mean he's going to get put in jail for the rest of the other thefts? Then why is Master Mask really... Then Master Mask is really innocent?
It would seem so. For now.
For now. I was going to say, all those other companies who stole stuff are really going to be wanting to, you know, level him with lawsuits.
Now then, the court finds the defendant.
Good old not guilty. Love those beautiful lines. Boy, this is really lucky. Well, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Master Mask after all. I mean, being a famous thief isn't really a good thing that you want to, you know, put in the public eye, I guess, but okay.
You did it, Phoenix.
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days.
Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously.
Oh. I guess I thought you were going to praise me for being an actual decent lawyer for a change, but apparently not. Ah, well.
On the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the Karain channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
Misty Faye, right?
Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Of course.
Well then, see you around.
Mia.
Mr. Wright? I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, Mr. Delight.
Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though. Now that I'm... Come on, just be happy already.
Maya?
You've been cleared of the murder charges and you got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything.
Huh? What do you mean?
Stealing security information in KP Security and becoming Master Mask. I did it all for one reason. For her.
That is true. You're thinking with your dick. And to be fair, a man thinking with his dick is the reason you've got out of this, so... you know, count yourself lucky.
She hates criminals more than anything.
Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she?
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had. She wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So that's why you became Master Mask.
Yeah, but that's all over now. Broken Bowl can never be put back together.
That's not true, right, Nick?
Right?
Really? Can we really go back to the way things were?
You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can. I kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Light, even a bulb is broken can always be put back together. Oh, it's the urn. I was gonna say, what thing is he talking about? But it's gonna be the urn because it's symbolism on the nose as hell.
The sacred urn? Desi was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife, she always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine, and you don't have to worry about anything.
Ah, there you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy.
Thank you, I appreciate that, but I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. Never imagined you were really Master Mask either. Miss Delight, what are you gonna do now? Miss Delight, what are you gonna do now that you know? You're not gonna leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away.
But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Oh, I only hate people who act cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see. I think she's just she's just weaving her way so he can commit more crimes and she can keep up a, high-class lifestyle. But, I don't know.
My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man.
To be fair, true. Oh, he also put himself in as well. So, hey, I'm helping you out here, Ron. He also docked himself in, and I've just hit my hand again, and I'm in pain.
I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spent with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Really? Is that the way you want to look at it? Okay, fair enough.
Desi.
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? In more ways than one, it would seem. Yes?
I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
Oh, I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations.
Oh, hi, Pearls. Talk about bad timing. Well, I'm about to get my ass kicked by a 9-year-old.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife, in front of Mystic Maya. No, you got it all wrong. I'll never forgive you. Never, ever.
So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness as I got slapped up by a 9-year-old. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that's put back together even better than before. I mean, yeah, but that's because we had a 9-year-old idiot who slaps people for a living, apparently. Or he's got one hell of a backhand repairing it, rather than an actual adult with super glue and everything. Although she did spill it in paint, so she's not completely sane herself. Right then, lovely. I think that will be the end for today. So we'll just make a little save. I'm not gonna lie, I was bricking it a little bit with the pressing statements, because when chat told me that you can only make one, or you have one chance to press, I was a bit worried. Because I would have save scummed. Let's face it, I would have done just to save time and editing time. But you know, you guys wanted it, so I I really did feel a relief there. But anyway, I guess that's all the time we've got for today. For people on Twitch, we're going to take a small break and head over to playing some Ori. But for people on YouTube, BitChute and Rumble, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is all streamed live from Twitch. If you ever want to interact and watch live, you can do. There should be a link in the description of every video that I do to the Twitch channel, as well as any other platform you wish to watch me on. If you want to like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, just to get the channel noticed, that'd be great. And I want to thank you all for watching one final time, and bye-bye.